Part 1. The rest stop. It was late afternoon on a quiet stretch of Interstate 70 in Kansas. The August heat hung heavy in the air, and the smell of gasoline and fresh-cut grass mixed in the breeze. Inside a small rest stop cafe, truckers sipped coffee, families stretched their legs, and kids ran in and out with bags of snacks. Captain Daniel Brooks, a decorated U.S. Army soldier just back from deployment, sat alone at a corner table. He was traveling home to surprise his mother for her birthday. His uniform was folded neatly in the back seat of his car. Today he looked like any other traveler in a worn t-shirt and jeans. Daniel was sipping his coffee when the sound of giggles caught his attention. A little girl, couldn't have been older than 10, was standing near the vending machines. She had light brown hair tied into a messy ponytail, a pink backpack slung over one shoulder, and eyes that kept darting nervously toward the parking lot. Something felt off. Daniel's military instincts told him to pay attention. Years in combat had taught him that danger rarely announces itself, it hides in plain sight. As Daniel glanced back down at his phone, movement in his peripheral vision made him look again. The girl had shifted her body so only he could see her hands. She held them low, palms out, then folded her thumb into her palm and closed her fingers over it. Daniel's chest tightened. It wasn't a random gesture. It was the internationally recognized hand signal for distress, a silent way to say, "I'm in trouble, I need help." Her expression never changed. She didn't cry. She didn't run. She simply let the signal linger for a second before casually turning toward the cafe door. A man in a faded baseball cap was waiting for her outside, leaning against a dark blue pickup truck. His body language was all wrong, standing too close, scanning the area and gripping her backpack strap. As soon as she stepped outside, Daniel's pulse kicked up. This is not her father. Every instinct screamed at Daniel to move, but training kept him calm. Rushing in without a plan could spook the man or put the girl in greater danger. He slipped a 20 under his coffee cup, walked casually toward the exit, and positioned himself where he could see both the man and the girl. Without being seen, the man opened the truck's passenger door. The girl hesitated just long enough to glance sideways right where Daniel stood. Their eyes met for half a heartbeat, and she repeated the signal. That was all the confirmation he needed. Daniel pulled his phone from his pocket, dialing 911 as he moved toward the vehicle. His voice was steady, but inside, adrenaline was roaring through him. "This is Captain Daniel Brooks, U.S. Army," he told the dispatcher. "I have a possible child abduction in progress at the I-70 rest stop, eastbound. Dark blue Ford pickup. Partial plate number." He rattled off the details without taking his eyes off the scene. The dispatcher kept him on the line, instructing him to stay close but not engage until law enforcement arrived. But Daniel knew seconds mattered. That truck left, the girl might disappear for good. The man climbed into the driver's seat, starting the engine. Daniel moved in fast, knocking on the driver's window with enough force to startle him. "Hey," Daniel said, forcing a friendly tone. "You dropped something by the vending machines. Thought you might want it back." The man narrowed his eyes. "We're fine," he said, his grip tightening on the steering wheel. Daniel leaned slightly, meeting the girl's gaze. She was pale, her small hands gripping the edge of the seat. "That your dad?" Daniel asked, voice casual but eyes locked on hers. She shook her head, barely perceptible, but enough. The man's face hardened. "Mind your own business, buddy." Daniel smiled, calm on the outside, coiled steel on the inside. "I'd love to. But see, I'm already talking to 911, and the state troopers are about 60 seconds away. So we can either stand here and wait together, or you can make this really hard for yourself." For a moment, everything went silent, except for the rumble of the truck's engine. Then the man's hand twitched toward the gearshift. Daniel's own hand slipped behind his hip, not to draw a weapon, but enough to remind the man that soldiers aren't easy prey. A low wail cut through the air, faint at first, then louder. The man's eyes flicked to the rearview mirror, where flashing lights were closing in fast. "Show's over," Daniel said softly. The man swore under his breath, killed the engine, and shoved the door open. He tried to slip past Daniel, but 2 Kansas state troopers were already on him, weapons drawn, ordering him to the ground. The girl scrambled out of the truck and ran straight into Daniel's arms. "You're safe now," he said, kneeling to meet her eyes. "You did the right thing." The rest stop was a blur of flashing lights, police radios, and murmured conversations. Officers learned that the man was wanted in connection with multiple abduction attempts across state lines. The girl had been missing for less than 24 hours, reported taken from a park while walking home from a friend's house. Her parents arrived within the hour, running to her with tears streaming down their faces. The reunion was raw, messy, and beautiful, her mother clinging to her like she'd never let go again. One of the troopers clapped Daniel on the shoulder. "Good eyes, Captain." "You saved her life." Daniel just shook his head. "She saved her own. She knew the signal. I just happened to see it." As the sun dipped low over the Kansas fields, Daniel sat in his car, the events replaying in his mind. A silent signal. A soldier on leave. A choice made in seconds. Later, news stations would run the story, praising the hero soldier who rescued a little girl. But Daniel always corrected them when he could. "She's the hero," he'd say. "All I did was listen when she asked for help, without saying a word." Moral: sometimes the most powerful cries for help are the quietest. Pay attention. Trust your instincts. And if you ever see the silent distress signal, thumb in palm, fingers closed, don't look away.